In an African village, surrounded by the hills and shaded by ancient trees, there lived a man named Adebayo. He was known far and wide for his strength, wisdom, and sense of honor. His father, Obatunde, was the village chief, respected, powerful, and admired by all who knew him. Though he was a man of age, his influence was unshaken. His word, the law, and his wisdom, the foundation upon which the village stood. Adebayo, his son, had recently wed the most beautiful woman in the land, Adunni. She was like a flower in bloom, pure and radiant, with a kindness that matched her outer beauty. Every man in the village admired her, but she had chosen Adebayo, and their love was celebrated by most of the villagers and envied by most men in the village, both married and unmarried men. It was said that Adunni's beauty could make the sun itself seem dull, and when she walked, even the winds seemed to pause and listen to her grace. The night of their wedding was a grand affair. The village was alive with music, dance, and joy. There were feasts fit for kings, and the air was thick with the scent of palm wine and roasted meats. But beneath the celebration, an unspoken tension lingered. A tension Adebayo could not sense, but Adunni felt deep within her heart. She knew that beneath these happy faces, cheering them up, lies heart full of jealousy and anger towards her and Adebayo. Men who are angered by her choice of man, fathers who wished she had chosen their sons. As the night wore on, and the laughter echoed through the village, Adebayo and Adunni finally retired to their chamber. The room was lit with only the soft glow of lantern. As they undressed and prepared for their first night together, Adunni's voice broke the silence. "Adebayo," she whispered, her voice shadowed with an emotion he could not place. "There is something I must tell you. Something my mother once said about your family. Something I fear a lot." Adebayo, smiling gently, lifted her chin with his hand. "What is it, my love?" Her gaze fell to the ground. "My mother told me that the men in your family carry a terrible curse. She spoke of a darkness that runs through your bloodline. Something that tempts even the purest heart. She said the curse would seek out everything that is good, everything that is beautiful, and destroy it." Adebayo laughed softly, dismissing her words. "No curse can touch us, Adunni. Our love is stronger than any darkness. We are free to build our own future." He embraced her warmly, and they lay down, the peace of their wedding night settling around them. But little did Adebayo know, the very curse his wife spoke of was already at work. Later that night, when the village had settled into a deep, dreamless sleep, a shadow moved through the dark. It was a figure cloaked in darkness, moving steadily towards Adebayo's home. This figure was none other than Obatunde, Adebayo's father, the village chief. The old chief had been consumed by an unnatural desire, one that had grown over the months. He had watched his son's bride, Adunni, since the day Adebayo introduced him to her. Her beauty, her innocence, had stirred something in him, a deep, forbidding longing. The chief had long suppressed these desires, but as he watched his son's happiness, the temptation grew too great. The curse Adunni spoke of was not of family affliction. It was a temptation born of man's desire, a heart that could not resist the pull of its darkest desire. Disguised as a robber, cloaked in shadows, Obatunde crept into his son's home. The village was quiet, unaware of the dreadful act about to unfold. He approached the newly weathered chamber with the seat of a serpent. Inside, Adunni slept, unaware of the impending danger. Adebayo was a very deep sleeper. You could come into his room and carry him to another community and he wouldn't even shake. So with practiced hands, Obatunde silenced Adunni's cry and forced himself upon her. The act was quick, brutal and cold, an unforgivable violation. And when it was over, he slipped away as silently as he had arrived, leaving behind only the echoes of his monstrous deed. When the first light of dawn touched the village, Adebayo awoke beside his wife. The moment he opened his eyes, something felt wrong. The warmth of their wedding night, the joy had vanished. His heart quickened as he turned to face Adunni. She lay still, her eyes wide open but distant, staring at the ceiling. Her beauty seemed dimmed, as if a cloud had passed over her spirit. Adebayo reached out to her, brushing a strand of hair from her face, but she flinched at his touch. "Adunni, what is wrong?" Adebayo asked, his voice filled with concern. "You seem different." She did not respond at first. Her eyes remained unfazed, like someone lost in a painful memory. Finally, her lips parted, her voice a mere whisper, strained with fear. "Adebayo, it was your father. Last night, he came to me disguised as an armed robber. He hurt me. He raped me. And I tried to wake you up, but you didn't." Adebayo froze. The words hit him like a thunderclap, a force so powerful that it shook the foundation of everything he knew. His mind raced, trying to understand. His father, Obatunde, had done what? "Father, no, this can't be true," Adebayo whispered, his voice trembling with disbelief. His father was a respected chief, a man of honor. How could such a thing be possible? Adunni's eyes filled with tears as she sat up, her body shaking with the weight of the trauma she had endured. "He came to me in the dark, masked and silent. I couldn't fight him off. I tried, but I couldn't." Adebayo's heart broke into pieces. His first instinct was to go to his father to confront him, but the thought of facing the man who had violated his most sacred bond filled him with dread. "I don't understand," Adebayo said, his voice full of despair. "Father is a man of honor. He has always been a leader of our people, and he sees you as his daughter. How could he do this?" Adunni looked at him with eyes full of sorrow, her voice steady despite the pain she carried. "There is a darkness in his heart, Adebayo, just as my mother warned me. The men in your family, they carry a curse. This curse seeks out beauty, purity, and love, and destroys them all." Adebayo felt a cold sweat break out on his forehead. Could it be true? Could this curse truly exist in his family? The thought of his father, the man who had taught him everything, being the source of such evil was too much for him to bear. "Do you believe me, Adebayo?" Adunni asked, her voice filled with desperation. Adebayo looked at her, torn between the love for his wife and the reverence for his father, the two pillars of his life, his love and his loyalty. We are now in direct conflict. I don't know, he said, his voice breaking. I need to speak with my father. I need to understand why. But Adunni shook her head, her face filled with a quiet sadness. There is no understanding to this, Adebayo. What he has done cannot be undone. The damage is done. But Adebayo still confronted his father, Obatunde, who just stared at his son with no evident emotion. He didn't accept to his crime and he didn't deny it either, which only meant one thing. Yes, he did it. Days passed, but the house felt different. The laughter that had once filled the air were now replaced with emotionless tears, guilt, and shame. Adebayo tried to speak with his father, but each time he did, Obatunde evaded him, slipping into shadow, avoiding his son's gaze. The weight of guilt hung over the old man, and though he had never confessed to his crime, his actions spoke louder than words, and the worst part was that he had no idea of how he got into Adebayo's room that night. He only knew of the crime he committed. It was as though the earth should open and swallow him. He was sure that if he didn't die of sickness, he was going to die of guilt. Adunni was a shadow of herself. She neither talked nor ate. It was a curse that needed to be broken, so reporting Obatunde to the elders wasn't even an option. Adebayo constantly blamed himself for the misfortune that had befallen him and his wife. If only I woke up when she needed me. If only I slept like a normal human being would, and not like a dead lion. Adebayo could feel the world closing in on him. The love he had for his wife, his devotion to his father, and his sense of honor now crashed violently within him. The curse that Adunni had spoken of, he could not deny it any longer. It was not just a shadow, it was a living, breathing entity that must be destroyed before it destroys them. So one evening, in the quiet of his room, Adebayo sat with his wife. His heart was heavy and his mind was torn. He could not stay in the village, not with the betrayal that had stained his life. But living would mean leaving behind everything he knew, even his father. Adunni took his hand, her voice filled with quiet wisdom. We can't outrun this curse, Adebayo, but we can choose how to live with it. We can break free from it together. Adebayo looked into her eyes, his heart filled with love and sorrow. How could you be this strong after everything? Adebayo asked. He knew the road ahead would not be easy. The betrayal, the curse, and the pain would follow him. But it would not define him. So together they would face the darkness, and together they would find the light. Determined to look for solution to this curse, because if not handled, it would be transferred to him as well, and his sons yet unborn. If my father didn't do anything about it, me, Adebayo Tunde, will. For myself, for my wife, and for my children, I will break this curse.